Live with Brittnie in partnership with our friends here at Miami Community Newspapers. My name is Brittnie of Chamber, President and CEO of Chamber South, and today I have with me Mr. John King. He's a shareholder at Acusure, and we're going to talk about what that means in a little bit. But John, we're so happy to have you here on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Great
to be here.
I know we've been chatting a little bit before the show, and I keep telling him like, no, don't talk to me because we're having such a good conversation, and I want you guys to be a part of the conversation as well. So we're going to get right into it. I know you. I've had the privilege of knowing you for a few months now.
Sure.
But I want the audience to get to know you. So
Definitely.
Walk us through your personal and professional journey. And I tell all of my guests, you got to throw in a fun fact. You can start with your fun fact if you want.
Okay. Well, let's start with a fun fact.
Yeah.
Born and raised here in Miami. However, my mom was born and raised in Trinidad, and my father was born and raised in Haiti. You know, you learn at a pretty early age, wherever you are, not to judge a book by its cover, but even more so here in Miami, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we love the Caribbean connection here,
yeah.
of course. How did that affect your childhood or your upbringing, having two Caribbean parents living in Miami?
Well, you know, it was interesting at times, right? Growing up here in Miami, it just obviously we're known for such a cultural melting pot, right? But also growing up playing soccer, it really allowed me to interact a lot with people from other countries and just have an appreciation for those different cultures as well that normally you may not have.
Were your parents able to keep your culture and your roots alive in your household as a kid? Okay,
yes,
good.
Whether it was griot, definitely through our diet, whether it was griot, oxtail, callaloo, you name it,
my God.
we had it.
You're making my mouth water when you're talking about food, and it's way too early in the morning for me to start
Can't forget roti.
Roti and doubles,
yes.
Oh my God, you said callaloo, and those who know that's where it's at. So that's amazing. Okay, so now you've talked a little bit about sort of your childhood and having Caribbean parents. Walk me through your personal and professional journey. How did you get to be where you are today?
Well, listen, I honestly thought I was going to be a professional soccer player growing up.
All right.
I gave everything I had as a youth, played through college, through about my junior year, and then realized, you know what, this journey has come to an end. So then I looked towards my older brothers who had already majored in risk management insurance at Florida State, and I said, you know what, everybody's always going to need insurance. So transferred to Florida State, got my degree, actually interned with the agency I started my career with, InSource. And after about 10 years as a sales professional there, I left and started my own firm, Link Companies or Link Group Benefits. And then just recently, as of August, we sold our agency and became a member of Acusure.
Wow. So you've done insurance your entire life.
Yes.
Professionally.
Yes.
Wow. That's really interesting. You never hear about someone staying in that industry, that field for such a long time.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's been a fun ride. And we've seen a lot of changes, obviously, but still really enjoying it.
We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. But you said that you wanted to be a professional soccer player, and I know that you've got a huge soccer connection. And I think when we pan to a double shot, you'll be able to see John's coffee cup, which is very soccer branded. And when you think about sports and you think about athletes and what the mentality of an athlete as they're training and as they're learning and all of those different things, how do you feel that has shaped your life and affected what you do today, and having that experience as an athlete and a player?
Right. Well, you can look at the life of an athlete and you can point out several qualities, right? We talked about being intentional, right?
Yes.
With discipline, coachable, right? Your attitude towards everything. How do you get along with your teammates, right? All of these character building qualities that I think a team sport, not to say that you can't learn them in individual sports, but tell you what, a lot of those characteristics that have helped me in my professional career came from playing soccer. And I'm sure helped many others who have played team sports,
And how have you applied that to, I guess, your office and those that you work with? I'm sure you manage a team. When you had your own, you were managing a team. How did you apply those principles?
Well,
downward?
Yeah, well, listen, it's as any business owner knows, it's building a company, getting the right people on the bus, right people on the team, getting them in the right position. When that happens, usually you build chemistry, and when you have a team with chemistry, it's limitless, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. It's so important. I always say one of my cliche, we were talking a lot about cliche
oh
sayings,
yeah,
and they're cliches for a reason. They really are cliches for a reason. But one of mine is no one accomplishes anything alone, and you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. And I think that's really applicable. And again, when you talk about sports, you talk about, being part of a team, but you talk about life in general. It transfers and it translates
no
so
doubt.
well. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about letting go of things.
Yep.
Right? Yep. And you certainly have to let go.
I feel like John and I had a whole interview before and I had to keep saying stop. We need to stop talking to each other because we're not gonna have anything to talk about.
Well, it certainly helped, right?
Yeah, it kind of loosened us up, and here we are now. Okay, so what are you? And I think we're gonna know the answer, and you can give me multiple answers, which I
Sure.
love. You can give me one on the professional side and one on the personal side. But what are
Okay.
you most passionate about?
Okay. Well, let's start with personal.
Okay.
I am passionate about my family. I am passionate about soccer.
Wait, so I need to talk about your family for a second because I
Yeah.
just found this. So again, let's just recap here. So
Right.
John's half Trinidadian, half Haitian,
Yes.
and your wife is
She's a Dominican. Yeah.
Dominican. So we've got the whole
Right.
gamut of the Caribbean
Oh
here.
yeah.
Beautiful family.
Yes.
Beautiful
Thank you.
family.
Thank you very much.
Big shout out to John's family right now if
Right.
they're watching. But beautiful family. Okay, so you're passionate about your family.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, we have time is the great equalizer. I've heard somebody once say. So you want to make sure that you're doing what you need to do to be able to put time into your family. We're actually going to be leaving for a soccer tournament later today.
That's so exciting. The whole family?
Yes, the whole family. Well, not my two in college, but yes,
Right.
the rest.
The
Everybody, yeah.
the youngins.
Yes, so we'll be heading out to Sarasota as we later on today. So look forward to that.
And I'm
of course-
assuming you're going to spend the weekend there and have fun
Oh
and
yeah,
enjoy it as
yeah.
a family.
I haven't
fun.
spent a weekend here in April in Miami.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's fun. It's so fun. We always ask ourselves, my wife and I, we start talking, say, hey, what else would we be doing?
Exactly.
It's a lifestyle. Trust me, it's a lifestyle. And then, of course, soccer. I had the opportunity to volunteer as a coach at my alma mater, which is Gulliver.
Okay.
We ended up winning the state championship, so that was a fantastic
It's
experience.
amazing.
Yeah, it was great because we ended up playing the state championship game in DeLand, which is where I played college soccer. So
Full
kind of
circle.
brought everything together.
Wow.
It was a cool experience. Yeah.
Do your kids go to Gulliver?
No, my kids go to True North actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
and I've got a junior at Florida State and a sophomore at FIU.
Lovely. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great. Okay, so that's on the personal side. We're passionate about the family and soccer, and I know that you have that passion, that love for soccer, and that's something that we first talked about when we met. What about your professional side?
Well, certainly professional side. I was mentioning earlier, I love helping entrepreneurs. I love helping businesses grow. When I first started, talking about how our expectations have changed, our expectations from our clients have changed. It's not just about, hey, finding the best insurance solution. It's how can you help me grow my business? How can you help me not only address the things that need to be insured, but what about the things you can't insure, right? So we run the gamut. So it's sitting down and really getting a look at, hey, what are we trying to accomplish? What do you need? Because we have an arsenal of tools to be able to pull off the shelf and help companies.
What are some things you can't insure?
Well, you start talking about compliance. So you start talking about, some other things that
Okay, I was
essential.
so okay, got it. I was
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here, I'm like, things you can't insure. And I'm like, my brain's spinning.
So listen, for instance, just by having an employee benefits plan, right? There's a lot of things that you need to adhere to with regards to laws, compliance,
Right.
all these other things.
But
So
there's
it's-
not really a lot of
the laundry list. I mean, we
Yeah.
could sit here and that's a whole nother couple of hours that we can.
So let's get right into it. Let's
Right.
talk about it. Not
Right.
for a couple of hours, but
Right.
let's talk about it. So what is Acusure? Tell me
Yeah.
about who you are, what you do, who you
Yeah.
serve. The floor is yours to talk about.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
So Acusure is a $4 billion in revenue organization that
It is the
it
largest.
is the largest privately owned insurance brokerage in the world.
That's incredible.
So we recently joined, as of August of last year, we joined the team, and we're so excited. I just got back from a conference in Orlando. It was called Full Throttle, right? And we're we're just well positioned to be able to help, whether it's organizations with, addressing their medical claims and for their medical plan with our clinical team or compliance team on the employee benefits side, whether it be property and casualty needs from the commercial side, all the way down through personal lines. I mean, we mortgage origination. I mean, there's so many things that we can do to help not only commercial businesses, but also individuals.
You said something earlier while we were chatting, and it was such a great line, and I'm going to have you repeat it again.
Sure.
But you said you're not insurance brokers, you are?
We're business advisors.
And I love that.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, listen, it's once again getting back to how we can help businesses. And if as the industry has changed with technology and everything else, I mean, you start talking about Chat GPT and everything else that's out there with AI. It's sometimes a scary world.
A little
right?
bit.
Yeah. So, listen, at the end of the day, it's sitting with a particular company, small, middle-sized, large, whatever they may be, and really figuring out what their, they call it pain or whatever their issues are, and how do we address that and how do we help?
Right. And so is there a certain specialty that you have, or is there something that, like a subset that you work with?
Yeah.
That you're, and I know we touched on it briefly where you said that you love, helping entrepreneurs and working with
Yeah. So my specialty for the last 25 years has been employee benefits.
Okay.
And with the cost of healthcare that continues to escalate, I mean, we've seen so many things, whether it be, the Affordable Care Act and all the different laws. Healthcare continues to be the largest line item expense for, if not the largest, one of the largest expenses for employers. And with tying that into attracting and retaining key employees to help their business grow and really figuring out, once again, being intentional with what you want to do. How do you really, do you have a business plan for your health plan or your employee benefits plan? That's what we like to really have that dialogue with employers about and really collaborate to make sure that they're spending that money, because they're already spending it most of the time, right? But are they spending it in the most efficient manner?
Of course, absolutely. I think that's so vital and it's so crucial. Right. And it's especially when you're talking about, like you said, attracting and retaining quality candidates. And we have so many workforce challenges now.
Oh, yes.
In our just in the professional world and in the industries, it's really hard to find good talent. It's really, and you're competing, and with the rise of remote work, you are competing no longer on a local level, but you're competing on a national, if not global level.
You're right about that.
So being able to build an attractive employee benefits package that you said, making sure that you're being the most efficient and the most effective with your funds and your dollars.
Right.
That's something that's so helpful to businesses.
Okay. Well, not only building it, right, making sure that the employees understand it, right,
and they're taking advantage,
it.
And they're taking advantage of it, and they know what they're getting.
You really have to build that goodwill as well, right, from an employer perspective, because, if they don't understand it, then utilization is just going to drive up claims. And of course, if they don't appreciate it, then they may be quick to leave to another competitor.
Right. So. Absolutely. That's very, very good point. What about, are there any other subsets of your industry that you want to talk about? I know we touched briefly earlier. We don't want to talk too much.
I mean, so my specialty is employee benefits, but I have I have a fantastic team backing me up, not only here locally, but of course, across the nation with regards to other specifics. Now, in Florida, there's a real homeowners crisis going on. Property insurance, and
there's a whole just everything about homeownership in Florida.
Right.
I mean, there's an affordability crisis, and now there's the property insurance issues, and it's
crazy.
The gamut's wild.
So some recent legislation was passed that will, with the intent of hopefully stabilizing our market. What that means, maybe some increased premiums for everybody, but we talk about the price of living in paradise, right? My team back at the office has all the specifics on that, and if anybody's really wondering, hey, is this the best I can do on my homeowner's insurance or anything else for that matter, we can certainly help.
You can take a second
Make an
look.
Informed decision, right?
Yes, take that second look.
Right.
And so going back to who you work with, and you said you love helping entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are usually startups, and they're small, and they have small teams, small budgets, the whole nine.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about like your clients, and if they're who your perfect clients, and then who you work. I mean, I'm assuming that no one's excluded here.
Well, yeah. So from that perspective, we have clients that, run the gamut: white collar, gray collar, blue collar. Just, but we've worked, and that's just the way things have worked out uh, with law firms and some technology firms. One particular example of a really good friend of mine who was or is still an entrepreneur, and he's in the third go around with his third company. We've helped him along the way, and he started at about 17 employees when he first came on about 5 or 6 years ago, and has now, he's got over 200 plus employees.
That's
doing
incredible.
really well. So happy for him. And so listen, there's nothing. I guess take pride in obviously what you do, but when you see that you've played a part in helping a business accomplish their goals, I mean, especially all the way through their exit strategy, you can't help but take pride in that.
And you don't just do business. And I'm sure you work with, do you work with 501c3s? Do you work with not-for-profit organizations?
Yeah, we listen, we run the gamut. We do work with not-for-profits, and that, you talk about making sure that they're spending the money in the most efficient way.
Absolutely.
Right?
They're stewards of donor dollars.
That's right. So, listen, we love helping any particular organization really accomplish their goals.
And you also do it on the personal side as well, too.
Yeah. So from a personal lines, so everything's really tied together.
Right, of course.
Because, if you're not spending more than you should, that should free up some dollars to really work for you.
Right.
Now, work for you in whatever manner you want, but we like, saying, hey, put that money to work maybe in your retirement plan.
Absolutely.
Or maybe put that money to work in a 529 for your kids or whatever that may be. So, yeah, really tying into needs from a commercial or, group basis, and then all the way down through their individual needs, to make sure that they are where they need to be.
Are there any other programs or initiatives or anything that we haven't touched on about Acusure that you want to, I don't know if you have a corporate social responsibility pillar that you want to touch on or any of those things. I mean, really, this is kind of like the opportunity. Is there anything else that you want to say about the organization?
Well, no. So listen, we continue to grow. We're always looking to be involved in the community in various ways. Everybody leans towards their passions, and that's obviously a good thing. But as far as right now, I know, listen, we being 8 months in, we'll continue to look for opportunities to get involved in the community and help in any way we can.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so incredible. Well, again, if you are looking for someone to kind of walk you through and be more than just an insurance broker and be a business advisor to your business, by all means, reach out to John. He's great, very personable, very amicable, easy to talk to. And if someone wanted to get in contact with you or get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Well, I mean, listen, I'm all over social media, so you've got my LinkedIn, you've got my email, easily accessible, and my clients, most of them have my cell phone, so
good.
You could reach me there. I'm, could be happy to get that to whoever needs it. Right?
Perfect. We'll be happy to help sir. I know a lot of people just sort of
reach out to Brittnie.
I'll connect you. That's kind of what we're supposed to be doing over here at Chamber South. It's so funny, John. I cannot tell you the number of people that have sat in that seat and just given out their cell phone numbers. And I'm like, can we stop just randomly giving out cell phone numbers on this show? Yeah. But we'll connect with John on LinkedIn, connect with John on social media. If you are interested in learning more or working with him. So let's getting back to like a little bit some more of the personal questions.
Sure.
But when you think about your life, both personally and professionally, what would you say that you are the most proud of? And I'm sure your family ranks really high up there, if not number one. But what else would you say that you're the most proud of?
Well, yeah, certainly family ranks up there. I would also say where I am professionally. There was a time where I wasn't sure if I wanted to step out and do my own thing. Then the question set in, well, why not, right? And then, of course, you never want to be in a position where you look back and say, what if? So not only starting with InSource 10 years in, leaving to start my own company, now I'm actually working with a lot of people that I started my career with at InSource, because that is the local office of Acusure, because InSource was acquired about 10 years ago as well. So everything's come full circle, and I'm proud of that.
I love what you just said. You went from a why not to a you don't ever want to say what if. And I think that that's so important.
Oh, no doubt.
When you look at your life, whether it's professionally or personally, keeping that in mind, keeping the why not do something? what do I have to lose, or what are the risks, or whatever, and analyzing all of those things, and then making sure that you don't have that like what if moment or have that regret. And yeah, I mean, like 10 years into your career and then starting out on your own. So
Right.
that's a big leap.
Yeah, it is a big leap, and it's a lot of these things are up here, right? So once you kind of break down that mental barrier, whatever it is that's preventing you from doing whatever, you realize, hey, it's really not that bad.
It's really not
Right.
that
Right.
difficult. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I think a lot of the times we tend to be our own worst critic, and we tend to get in our way a lot. And sometimes you just need to get out of
Why
your
didn't I
way.
do that earlier?
I know. Try to get out of your way and just, go for it and take that leap.
Right.
I feel like we're getting into like the last part of our segment today. I always tell my guests, when we're wrapping up,
Sure.
what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received,
Ooh.
and what advice would you like to leave our audience with today? And I feel like we've just thrown out so many nuggets
Well,
of wisdom.
I hope everybody
Anyways,
feels the same, right?
Yeah.
But listen, I've been so fortunate and blessed to have so many people help me along the way, various stages of my life, mentors, coaches, I mean, you name it. And getting back to cliches, right?
But like you said, they're cliches for a reason.
Right, they are, right? It wouldn't be true, right? So I'd say don't burn any bridges, right? Because, once again, getting back to, when I left InSource, things could have gone easily south.
Yep.
And sometimes that does happen for, many reasons, but it was an amicable split. And here we are, gosh, about 18 years later. I would
Almost
say.
2 decades later.
Right.
Yeah.
Back at it, and but now under the title of Acusure, which we're certainly proud to be a part of, and carrying that flag and moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that that's so important, and not burning those bridges, especially, a lot of people think that Miami-Dade County is this large area. It's so small, and the circles that you run in, you just never know. And there can be times, I know that it's difficult to keep your head high and to be the bigger person and to do the right thing, because we all have those moments. We're all human. But I was chatting with a friend one time, and I happened to say this as part of the conversation. I told her, I was like, I've never regretted taking the high road. And I wasn't trying to say something profound. I was just having a conversation with a friend, but it really stuck with me, remembering that I've never regretted taking the high road and not burning those bridges, I think is so important.
Well, I think you really can't change who you are, right?
Yeah.
Down inside, it's embedded in your fiber, your DNA, and listen. And even I think if and when you do try to change who you are, you probably end up regretting it. Right?
You just revert back to exactly who you are.
Exactly.
It's innate.
So
It's innate.
go with the flow. Right.
Go with the flow, be easygoing, and don't burn those bridges, because it's very important that you just never know where life is going to take you.
Don't be a pushover, but yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely, of course. I mean, stand up for what you believe in, but there's balance in everything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, John, this has been an amazing conversation.
I've
Thank
enjoyed
you
it.
so much. Thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, there we go. We're on the double shot. You can see John's cup. I wanted to make sure that we pointed that out.
That's
okay.
my favorite sports team. All right, so
What's
United States national soccer team. Right.
all right? Go USA.
Don't get me wrong. Love the Heat. Love the Dolphins. Love everybody, but
So it's a national
love
team.
the Seminoles.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Okay. Very
I
cool.
might get beat up as I walk out of here. But
No. We would never let that happen. I'm a knight. I'll
I
protect
have
you.
I have an appreciation of the Canes for sure too as well. So.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been another episode of Live with Brittnie in partnership with our friends here at Miami Community Newspapers. These shows are filmed every Friday morning at 10 a.m. at the Miami Community Newspapers studio. So if you'd like to be featured on the next episode of Live with Brittnie, please reach out to us. You can call us at the office, 305-661-1621, or you can email us at info@chambersouth.com, and we will see you next week.